You don't want to be just another generic e-commerce Shopify brand. You want to be the only one, the one who gets invited to Shark Tank, the one who gets the recognition, and the most unique brand out there. And this comes down to creating these 7 elements in order to become the most sought after that creates the movement. Stay until the end because the last point tells you what most of the e-commerce founders are doing wrong with their social media that is killing their sales. The number 1 comes with a founder narrative. Every entrepreneur needs to have a story, the breaking point in their life that made them and inspired them to create this product. Every customer will feel much more safe when you, as the owner of your business, understand us. If you have an empathy for us, and the only way the person can have an empathy is when they themselves been through the situation. This client of mine who sells the hair mixture has shared her own problem, how she was bullied at school and how she always neglected her natural curls. And now that she's in that position where she is embracing the natural curls and is realizing that that's her uniqueness, she's also creating these products that helps other people do not feel freezy about their hair so that they have to straighten it, but actually embrace it to the fullest. Now that have people connected with your narrative, at the end of the day, also another element that even reinforces that trust for your customers is actually knowing how good your product is. And that brings me to my next point of sharing more of your customer stories. But again, when I talk about customer stories, I'm not meaning that you should share some generic client testimonials, but also try to find your own creative way on how do you want to present these customer stories. I remember I have seen this makeup artist. She would always find women who have been feeling insecure due to getting their faces damaged either by a fire or any other accident. And I remember she would always create this type of a transformation videos where she would apply makeup and where they could feel themselves more confident. And I remember that really became her signature customer stories that every other makeup artist out there started reusing. Or that barbershop business, they would just go outside and find random strangers on the street and ask for their permission whether they were open to have a transformation with their hair. And then they would create this whole process of how they transform their hair into like a very good haircut. Try to think what kind of a unique customer story in your own industry you can create that makes you go viral, but also makes you see that you're creating something valuable and you're really changing the lives of the customers so that you start getting more inquiries. The third element that a lot of founders miss is that they do not know how to be in tune with their audience. And when I talk about being in tune with the audience, is that being a little bit approachable, having the two-way street communication with your audience. A lot of you, when you have a vision and you start your brand, you always think that, you know what, I want to be luxury, I want to be this unapproachable brand, I want to be positioned as a premium person. But in reality, at the end of the day, community, you are an e-commerce founder and your sales depend on having the sympathy and recognition of masses. And if you do not know how to appeal to masses, you will never get their recognition, their trust, and at the end of a sales. And I want you to think about Princess Diana. Princess Diana is the best example of being the most sought after. Even though she comes from the royal family, she's labeled as the Queen of Hearts because she resonates with people. She's vulnerable. She is there for people. Whereas when you're looking at Queen Elizabeth, yes, she's unapproachable, but people do not really resonate with the Queen Elizabeth because that represents institution. I really want you to change that mindset and be like, yes, I will be the most approachable founder with a brand, but at the end of the day, I will be still premium, just like Princess Diana. Because at the end of the day, building a community and having effect on the people who are there looking up to you is the ultimate goal. Now, this brings me to my next point that in order to be sought after, you also need to have a strong belief. I want you to be so confident about the belief that you have so that you start attracting people that resonate with your message. Every time when I go on stages and when I'm authentically sharing that, guys, I stand in order to be magnetic, I think you have to be you. You shouldn't be pretentious. You shouldn't be performative. And every time I see that when I get approached by people from the stages, they always say, Mitch, I really resonate with your message. And the reason that they resonate with my message is simply because I have my philosophy and I've communicated about it left and right, which helps me to also attract the crowd that resonate with that message and also feels comfort in knowing that they're not the only one thinking about it. As much as you have a brand belief, you also need to be able to share what do you stand against, what is your arch enemy. You know, there's this saying that you always connect with someone over the enemy that you both despise. If you're bold enough to talk badly about that enemy, to be like, I despise this enemy is an oversold version of what is not solving your problem, enhance is sabotaging your growth. But here am I with the product that I have developed. develop. I am helping you to defeat that enemy. And in the case of my client, she always says that her enemy is the beauty standards for where she comes from. And she confidently shares about it, how unfair it is. More people, even though they resonate with what she stands for, they simultaneously resonate what she despises. Another element that you have to include in your personal brand is to always talk about the customer problem. At the end of the day, people are selfish. The only thing that they care about is their own problem. But sometimes it's hard to be always in the shoes of other people. So the way to simplify it, when I work with founders, I always tell them, when you are talking about the customer problem, always talk about your own problems. Because remember, when we shaped your founder narrative, you've already described your problem. In your content, instead of saying that, here's how you can turn your frizzy hair into the fresh looking good curly hair, why don't you say that, today I felt very insecure about my frizzy hair, so that's why I used this tincture to apply on my hair, and now I feel so much more confident. So this way, even though you are sharing your own story, you're still indirectly solving your customers' problem, because you're still talking about the problem that they resonate with. Now, the last point that I see a lot of e-commerce businesses do that helps them to lose sales instantly is not having the product description in every video. So what I mean by that, the other day when I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw this amazing bridal brand, and obviously as a girl who wants to have her princessy wedding one day, I really wanted to look through her products and see what kind of gowns and dresses she has. And guess what? Every video of that brand was simply just like showing the talking head of a founder. And as someone who is immediately looking to look at the product, I couldn't find any imagery, any videos of the product. And I was like, where's the product? And I kept scrolling some type of educational content on how to clip veil into your hair. And I'm like, I'm really sorry, but I don't care about this. I really want to see the product. So which brings me to my next point. If your business is visual based, meaning that you're selling something tangible, something that we need to touch, something that we need to look before making a decision, your content should visually represent that. I don't say that you shouldn't be sharing the founder journey content. I should see less of your face and more of the product that I'm about to buy. Same with this Contour Cube brand. Yes, she does share her story, but at the end of the day, in every video, she holds her product. I get to see her product. She's not only talking about it, but she's showing. And it helps me to make a decision faster, to see how the product looks like, to see that it does serve a certain function. With that being said, I want to remind you that at the end of the day, the success of building a sought-after e-commerce brand on social media is to be able to have fun with it. Because if you are desperate for sales and you want to immediately make sales on social media, that desperation kills your creativity. You lose your authenticity, you lose your edge. The point of you to creating a sought-after brand is that you become a master of soft selling. And if you want to learn more about soft selling techniques, I've created these resources of wealth killer storytelling methods in order to elevate your soft selling skills through your social media. Thank you so much, and see you on the next one.